want to talk to you today about sowing some broad beans. You might have sown them back in September, and you can do that, ready for good early crops, but you can also sow them now, either in the ground, especially if you've warmed up the ground a bit with a cloche beforehand, or into containers, which is what I normally do. And I usually use these root trainers, but you can also use loo roll holders, anything like that. These are a bit bedraggled now because I've used them for so many years. I recycle them every year, but it gives them a good long root run. There are several reasons why I like to do it in a container. One is if your ground is very wet or very clayey, you run the risk of your broad bean seeds rotting in the soil before they've germinated. And this also gives me a chance to work out which ones are not going to germinate. So you can judge it beforehand. Another thing that you can do if you plan to sow them into the ground straight away is to sow a few extra seeds at the end of your main row, and then you can swap them in if some in the main row didn't work. Okay, so this is how you do it. You just fill up your container with peat-free compost like that, and then you sow your broad bean seeds sideways into the soil. Sideways because, again, it prevents them from rotting before they've germinated. The water will run off them a bit. Just one each per unit, like that. Another way that you can test if your seeds are viable is by soaking them in plain water for a day, and then taking them out of the water and wrapping them in damp kitchen roll, putting them in a plastic bottle, put the lid on and keep it somewhere warm for about 4 days, and then check the seeds. And if they've started to germinate, then just starting to show little roots, then you know that your seed is viable and you can then plant it into the soil. By the way, I'm using Bunyard Exhibition from D.T. Brown, very tried and tested variety from a very tried and tested company. So there we are. I'm just going to cover that over with soil now, with compost, a little bit more compost there. I shall water it and keep it in a cool place to germinate, and after about 4 to 6 weeks those containers will be full of roots and ready to plant out into the garden. If you've kept it somewhere slightly warm, then harden them off by putting them outside for a day and then bringing them in at night just for a few days, just to get them used to outside conditions. One more thing, if you want a load more tips like this, then don't forget that we brought out a book last year, Beginner's Veg, easier than you think, easier to grow than you think. In response to the first lockdown, actually, we had a series of blogs brought out in 2020 about veg growing, beginner veg growing, and it was so popular that we turned it into a book. So you'll find loads more tips for veg growing in that. Otherwise, don't forget to tune in to our main website, the3growbags.com, for loads of sisterly banter and a lot more gardening tips. Bye.